You're listening to 1069 Click FM, live in color.
Yes, folks, it's true. Never put salt in your eyes, but if you do, make sure that you absolutely positively kill Danny first. Welcome, everybody, to this afternoon's edition of Ass Talk. I'm your host, Jim B, here on 1069 Click FM, home of Internet Community Radio. I'm glad that all of you have shown up today. I see William, Luke, True North, Logan was in here earlier. Just going to take some time to go through the noxious clouds of sports prognostication in order to find a few nuggets of truth that we can share with each other. Absolutely. And in the spirit of Ben Murphy, do it as chill and laid back as possible. So in that spirit, I want to thank a new sponsor that we have today. Now this is a little bit important because, I have a drink that I like to make on this show called the Pitx. And some of the ingredients are a little out of people's ordinary shopping patterns, can be hard to get, but I have, for the rest of you, created a new recipe for the Pitx. It is a 2-ingredient recipe that most of you should be able to follow. All you need is 3 shots of Everclear and a can of this Green River Soda, bottled out of Glendale, Wisconsin. And I think you will agree that this definitely is in the right spirit of being a drink for the Green Bay Packers. All right. Thank goodness I keep all these extra napkins on my desk for when I spill things while trying to look cool. And I'm assuming this is the same Green River that was around in 1919 when it was instituted for prohibition, but don't quote me on that. So, today has been spent, checking out the last gasps of the regular season for both the NHL and the NBA. We're very close to having the seeds set in all of the playoff leagues. We're still waiting on some things to finish up in the Western Conference, figuring out if it's going to be Colorado or Dallas playing against either Minnesota or the Kraken, I believe. So I think that is going to be determined tonight by the Avalanche Predators game that is currently happening. Oh, True North is we've gotten a fan in True North. Fantastic. And if I look carefully, I think things are squared away almost pretty much in the NBA. We're just waiting on Miami and Chicago to deal with their last play-in game, which will be happening tonight before my broadcast with Minnesota Vikings Man 28. Cleveland is scheduled to face the New York Knicks, Philadelphia against Brooklyn, and earlier last week, Atlanta secured their place in the 7th seed, so they will be fed to the Boston Celtics. Meanwhile, over in the Western Conference, the Lakers got their play-in win, so they are the 7th seed to face the number 2 Memphis Grizzlies. Sacramento versus Golden State, which we will be covering game 1 of on Saturday. Number 4, Phoenix Suns versus number 5, the LA Clippers, and Denver waits to see whether they will be facing the Minnesota Timberwolves or the upstart Oklahoma City Thunder, who pulled out an insane win that I'm pretty sure nobody expected them to get against the New Orleans Pelicans. But it was a hell of a fun game, and I am hoping for a repeat tonight. And I was also looking over the baseball standings today. I am shocked to see that the Rays are still undefeated. I'm pretty sure the Yankees are filing a grievance with the league as we speak. The Twins somehow have possession of the lead in the AL Central, and the Angels have now tied the Rangers for first in the AL West. So there you go. The Pirates have climbed ahead of the Cubs to be second behind the Brewers in the NL Central. The Diamondbacks are still hanging on to the lead in the NL West, and the Mets are still a couple of games behind the Braves in the East. So I think we're having some excitement. All right, Luke, I'm glad you were able to do that, and hopefully it'll give you some new inspiration. Now, actually, Luke, I'm glad that you're here because I wanted to ask you for a few more details about Birmingham City. Now, you all heard the news about us being very close to an official deal linked to Dan Snyder that'll take the Commanders away from him and give it to a little consortium that happens to include, I think, Magic Johnson and the New Jersey Devils. And yes, hashtag fix Jim's internet. I just saw that number droop. Anyway, so you don't have to go into major detail for it. I am just curious was it as bad as Daniel Snyder, or was it just a general, this owner is not helping the team, we want them gone sort of situation? I mean, was there the pop? Because with Daniel Snyder, I mean, who knows what else they could have been digging up, and I'm sure they could have gotten a lot more dirt with enough time and more people being willing to step forward. But, we'll take the victories where we can. Honestly, they were as bad as Snyder, if not worse. Now that is... considering some of the shit that Snyder did, apart from, the buying the media outlets to reduce criticism of him, knocking down trees on Park Service land without getting the appropriate permits and then blaming it on the landscapers, the hostile work environment for female employees or independent contractors, however they decide to pay them less. Man, that honestly sounds like it must have been pretty brutal. And I'm not sure exactly where Birmingham City is on the soccer level. I don't know if they're even Championship League, maybe not Premier League. But, just curious. Hypothetical question. G agrees to trade their star QB to Team J. And Team J gets nervous that the QB might retire at the end of next season and reneges on the deal. Why is Team J trash? Not Premier League, but the one below that. Oh, so is that the Championship League? I always thought it was. Well, I actually addressed that a little bit in my draft picks for today, which we'll get to in a little bit after we calm down the initial discussion that people want to get through. Logan, if you're still out here, I know that you're probably very proud of the Brewers being in the lead in the NL Central right now. Is there Anything in particular for the team that is going as well as you expected? And is there any performance by any one player or a group of players, like the infield, outfield, bullpen, whatever, that has surprised you and gone better than you expected it to do? I mean, I was honestly shocked that the last time I checked that the Kansas City Royals, who are currently near the bottom of the AL Central with a grand 4-9 record, were able to hang so many runs on the Rangers in their recent meetup. But maybe that's just the world that we live in now, thanks to this pitch clock and the bigger bases. That these games have they have the possibility of getting more wild than we've been used to in the past. Because there's definitely going to be a lot more pickoff attempts with a limited number of free engagements that the pitchers can get. More runners getting into scoring position. And I don't know if... I'm also curious to know that if the number of rundowns has increased. I'm not sure if that's a statistic that can be checked, but it seems like this is giving a pretty big advantage to the base runners. Let's see. Injury to Brandon Woodruff was kind of tough, but you were pleasantly surprised with their win last night over the Padres. Let's see exactly how they did over Les Padres. Okay, so they had followed up a loss to the Diamondbacks on Wednesday to a 4-3 victory over the Padres yesterday. They were playing in an away game. All right, always tough to win on the road, and managed to stave off a little bit of an 8th-inning comeback in order to hold on. Oh, damn, that one went into extra innings, and they got it with a single run in the top of the 10th. All right, let's look at this name that you mentioned. Brandon Woodruff. Okay. Oh, pitcher. Ooh. Uh-oh. Okay, so why have they placed right-handed pitcher Brandon Woodruff on the injured list? Okay, it's the 15-day injured list with right shoulder inflammation, according to ESPN News Services. Milwaukee's manager Craig Counsell, before their recent victory over the Diamondbacks 7-1, said Woodruff didn't recover well from his previous start. Club wanted to give him some rest, and they have called up right-hander Jason Junk from AAA. That is an unfortunate name. Okay, yeah. He was the one who started in that loss that they had to Arizona on Wednesday. Poor dude. All right. Well, let's hope for your team that it is nothing major. The poor MLB teams are losing money on beer sales with the shorter games. I mean, I would think that would encourage people to drink quicker, because I know that usually the artificial cutoff, I think at most stadiums, is around like the 7th inning stretch. That above is about the best you can explain it in a YouTube chat. All right, that's totally fair. I understand that sometimes these things can sound a lot more complicated if you have to explain like the inner workings and machinations of different leagues that people aren't intimately familiar with. That's totally fine, Luke. I understand. But it does occur to me that they might want to, if that is a true thing, true north and that the beer sales are declining, maybe with the increased pace of play that's going on, it might be about time to make that beer cutoff a time-based thing rather than an inning-based thing. Just because, it's much more of a time-based thing, how quickly the body can filter the alcohol out. And Hong Kong regulations and criminal investigations. Oh, okay. That's definitely a bigger kettle of rancid fish than I was expecting. Wow. Okay. I'm glad you guys are hopefully not going to be wrapped up in that for too much longer. Yeesh. All right. Let me see if I can remember anything else that happened. I know that NASCAR drove on a dirt track earlier this weekend, and he was hidden in live chat. Sorry about that. All right, here is it. Man in Cambodia called Wang Yao He, who is, let's say, shady as all fuck, who the current regime lied about their involvement in the current regime, facing criminal charges for lying on business records, but with lies by omission in Hong Kong. Oh, damn. Whew. Not only did they fuck with the money, but they they did it with other countries too. Ooh, that is brutal. Ooh. A majority of them are true north. We are still waiting on a couple to get through. Like I said, tonight's there is a game tonight with the Colorado Avalanche facing the Nashville Predators that will determine the remainder of the seeding that still has to be done in the West, and it will determine whether for the Colorado Avalanche and the Dallas Stars, who will face the Minnesota Wild and who will face the Seattle Kraken. Like, all these teams have actually made the playoffs, but now they're just deciding now it's just figuring out who's going to play who. Everything else is pretty much set. We've got the Golden Knights facing the Winnipeg Jets. The Oilers are going to be facing the Kings, which I will cover at least a game of that series for however long it lasts. Let me see. There we are. New Jersey Devils versus New York Rangers is set. Hurricanes versus the Islanders. That ought to be a series. The Toronto Maple Leafs versus the Tampa Bay Lightning. Everyone is ready to get hurt again up in the Great White North. And, of course, the most important series, Boston versus Florida, because if Boston does get eliminated by the Panthers, they will be memed into oblivion, and we will be one step closer to me showcasing a potential Eastern Conference final between the Panthers and the Hurricanes, just because we will have deserved it for speaking that into existence. Oh, hello, Ishii. Hope you're doing well, and, oh, he has an affinity for hiring hitmen. Okay. Wow. Real life becoming anime more every day. He's already had to run from 2 nations for his love of that. What? And wow, that they actually got fined for resting their players. They're not even in the playoff hunt anymore. Oh, this is actually not a beer. This is a legit soda. Like I said, it was introduced in 1919 when Prohibition came along. So, it actually tastes just like any other like generic lemon lime soda that you get out, except it has like the really harsh dark green color. Hence why it makes me think of the Green Bay Packers. Yeah, about 3 shots of Everclear. Oh yeah, that'll be some nice coping mechanisms. Ishii, I hope you are doing well. It is a beautiful day out here. Once again, the windows are open. The cats are on guard. I have already heard many howls of protest from Monty, who most definitely wants to go and eat all the food at the neighbor's bowl before the ferals can show up. No, it is a soda. It is a soda. Oh, I'm glad to hear it, Ishi. I think, well, now that you're here, and also because it's 420, I think it's a good time to go over my first official ass picks for the 2023 NFL Draft. Now, I want to make it clear. I only did the first round, and I a lot of times do not even do specific players. I went with just general moves that I think the team might have made or positions that I felt they needed to fill the most. I know how much research and effort gets put into a lot of these draft videos, and honestly, I don't really have the energy or the guidance to do the research, and I still have not done any research. Not yet, Ishi. Maybe someday. But I just tried to think about what the best course of actions might be for certain teams to not only improve current rosters, but think toward the future. And I am more than willing to take any suggestions that you have to improve my methodology. The NBA's reason for finding the Mavericks is that they were undermining the integrity of the league. You don't say. There is a video called Meeting with the Mayor 7, is what you were watching earlier, and that lays it all out. All right, I will get a copy of that to look at later. I appreciate it. Hello, Ron. You're just in time for the start of my draft picks. All right. Now here we go. Before we start, we already get crazy. I have Carolina trading down to the number 4 pick to switch with Indianapolis. Now in this, the Colts get the number 1 pick, 20 bottles of Everclear, and ownership of Darius Rucker's acoustic guitar that he used to write the entire Cracked Rear View album that was a big hit for Hootie and the Blowfish. Carolina, in the exchange, gets the Colts' entire championship history, and they then proceed to send a Super Bowl III trophy to Baltimore as a good faith gesture. And meanwhile, at number 1, the Indianapolis Colts pick Anthony Anderson, and he and Gardner Minshew team up to fight crime and play beer pong. At number 2, the Houston Texans draft Baphomet, the imaginary god of the Templars, and anyone else we happen to not like at the moment. Long snapper. At number 3, the Arizona Cardinals wake up, and they find themselves in a nondescript room where the weather seems to be much cooler than they're used to. They walk outside, and they are suddenly at Soldier Field. A pile of clothes weighed down by a rock has a note pinned to it from the former owner. He is never seen again and is presumed to have walked into Lake Michigan. Chicago gets a second NFL team, or we can be honest with ourselves and call the other ones the Arlington Heights Bears, and the city uses eminent domain to seize all office buildings and transform them into free housing. In the draft, they go O-line. At number 4, the Carolina Panthers take the first player who can guess which hand is holding the 8-ball of smack. At number 5, the Seattle Seahawks take a recipe for vegan chocolate cake and see if they can make it as a gift for their cousin's upcoming wedding. They draft an inside linebacker. At number 6, the Detroit Lions hide a massive dose of original recipe LSD in their coach's 40-ounce morning coffee. Dan Campbell sees the ghost of Hank Williams ordering him to build a church, and no one can tell the difference between this and how he normally behaves. They shore up the D-line. At number 7, the Las Vegas Raiders take Josh McDaniels out for a night on the Strip, eventually ditching him after he spends 45 minutes complaining about the song choices in the Beatles' Cirque du Soleil show. Meanwhile, Mark Davis sells his toenails to unknown buyers in Malaysia to pay the electric bill. They miss their pick. At number 8, the Atlanta Falcons draft a cornerback and shoot anyone who mentions 28-3. Amid massive casualties, they are christened America's team. At number 9, the Chicago Bears take a linebacker behind the woodshed and never speak of this day again. At number 10, the Philadelphia Eagles combine bleach, cheerwine, and Yingling into a new victory drink they call Hey, This Hurts. There is much laughter and screaming as Howie Roseman reminds them to make sure the kids drink up first. He then tries to redraft Boston Scott. At 11, the Tennessee Titans construct a 50-foot humanoid figure out of wood and brush with various cages built into its structure. Among its occupants are several goats and the entire Addams family. As the structure burns, fans hold hands and sing Rocky Top Tennessee over the screams of Gomez Addams insisting they got the wrong Addams family. They miss their pick. At number 12, the Houston Texans draft a wide receiver. At number 13, the New York Jets sleep until noon, get up to check their phone, and see that the Packers still haven't called them back. They erase Gutekunst's number from their phone, take a long shower, and spend the rest of the day watching Mel Brooks movies and vowing to not get so wrapped up in one person. Before the start of History of the World Part 1, they draft C.J. Stroud. At number 14, the New England Patriots run about in a panic as they do not have the proper amount of victims for the offering to the deep ones, and none of the other owners happen to have change for an 8-year-old. They take linebacker Nick Herbig out of Wisconsin. At number 15, the Green Bay Packers start upturning trash cans when their pick gets taken one spot before. They threaten to hold their breath forever unless someone makes the Patriots give him back. Failing that, they look at the remaining wide receiver talent and draft a tight end. At number 16, the Green Bay Packers get back from the bathroom and wonder who just used their pick. A mask is pulled off to reveal Stephen Ross, who cackles and disappears behind a smoke bomb. The Commanders give the Packers their pick, saying, "We're kind of just taking time for ourselves right now." The Packers look at the remaining wide receiver talent and draft a tight end. At 17, the Pittsburgh Steelers draft 2 running backs. Everyone notices but decides to just let them carry on. At 18, the Detroit Lions go back in time and convince a young Aaron Rodgers that the NFL is an exploitative meat grinder that takes the best role models we have and destroys them before they can effect substantial change on society. Rodgers instead opens a string of co-op grocery stores and organizes the bombing of Orange County. Detroit still doesn't win any Super Bowls in this timeline, but everyone admits that what they managed to do is pretty darn impressive. Out of admiration, half of the Bills' fan base moves to Flint, Michigan. At number 19, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers draft LeBron James. Then they draft him again just to be on the safe side. At number 20, the Seattle Seahawks trade their pick to the Philadelphia Flyers and receive 2 second-round picks in future NHL drafts and the services of their mascot Gritty, who proceeds to put on a Union Civil War outfit and leads a march to the Ohio-Idaho border, that destroys major strongholds of the fundamentalist Latter-day Saints and the 3%er movement. The Flyers manage to get Connor Bedard while everyone else is laughing. At 21, the Los Angeles Chargers tie Dean Spanos to a rotating wooden circle and practice their knife-throwing act. Everyone leaves to go to the bathroom, and the police cannot find a single witness. At number 22, the Baltimore Ravens sell their pick on the darknet to pay Lamar Jackson. Exactly 5 minutes later, their Bitcoin wallet is drained and refilled with pictures of milkshakes being poured on corgis. Lamar quits football and goes back to school to get a degree in business management. At number 23, The Minnesota Vikings could have been a parking lot attendant, a millionaire in Bel Air, anyone other than themselves. At 24, the Jacksonville Jaguars team and fans run through AT&T Stadium dressed as clowns and hitting everything in sight with giant inflatable hammers. Shaggy and Violent J show up and body slam Jerry Jones through a table. Jaguars draft O-line depth, and Trayvon Walker learns to tie his shoes without throwing his back out. At number 25, the New York Giants draft Max Duggan. He and Daniel Jones end up reenacting the Marx Brothers mirror routine from Duck Soup when they first meet. Locker room morale improves, and Brian Dable grows a fourth testicle. At number 26, the Dallas Cowboys give Tony Pollard all their money and give Ezekiel Elliott to the Rams. He has a career resurgence as a bartender in the club level at SoFi. The Cowboys miss their pick. At number 27, the Buffalo Bills draft the Human Torch and instruct him to speed up climate change in their area so they can finally have a nice place to play. After 30 minutes of explaining that his powers don't work that way, he is beaten to death by Stephon Diggs. At number 28, the Cincinnati Bengals are horrified to discover that Joe Burrow has been possessed by the spirit of Lou Reed. He starts smoking clove cigarettes and reading Bukowski to the wide receiver room. Bengals draft O-line. At number 29, the New Orleans Saints draft a manatee with a great mustache who owns his own conversion van with a really cool airbrushed portrait of Huey P. Long shaving his own head. At number 30, the Philadelphia Eagles dismember and cannibalize a hitchhiker when the taco truck is late. They swear to never speak of it unless they're trying to impress people at a cookout. They miss their pick. And finally, at number 31, the Kansas City Chiefs set up a harness on Patrick Mahomes involving mirrors and a Bluetooth speaker, creating the illusion that there are now two Patrick Mahomeses on the field. The entire AFC West immediately moves away. New franchises are established in Saskatoon, Farley in West Yorkshire, and Somalia. They also draft a new punter. And there are my first-round picks for the first round of the NFL 2023 draft. Now, I know some of my predictions may be a little bit out there, but then again, this is my first time, and I don't know how everything usually works and all the usual trade up, trade down strategies and, player exchanges and value of picks and whatnot. I didn't even look up those tables. But from the few bits of second opinion that I got from other folks, I think I got it pretty good. Any notes? Logan, that sounds far too rational. Helping Jordan Love and shoring up safety and defensive depth. Honestly, I was very close to just saying that the Packers draft an inside linebacker, but even I couldn't believe that one. Yeah, I mean, Kung Fu, who needs an offensive line when you have 3 first-round running backs? That's just math right there. As a separate video? Okay, I think I can do that. Yeah. Anyway, I think I don't have anything else really to bring up today as far as sports news. I've just been kind of focusing on getting this together. Took a lot of study and writing, and I didn't ask, but I assume that since neither one of them are in here criticizing my decisions, that Angie is pleased and Monty has kind of just accepted what I've done for the Vikings. Yeah, Ishii, I'm actually going to be live for Game 1 this Saturday. And don't worry, I will get my cat's reactions to the actual draft picks during draft day. Those will be shorts that I am going to make. But for now, I think I've said about all I need to say. I don't want to take up your valuable time anymore. Besides, I'm going to be back later tonight for the Minnesota OKC game with Minnesota Vikings Man 28. And I hope at least a few of you will be around for that. But if not, well, thank you very much for coming along to listen to Ass Talk today and my picks for the 2023 draft. I hope we are all get a good start to a great rest of the weekend. Yes, with Satan. I hope it'll be a fun game. And however you're in and out, that is totally cool. Yeah, I think the Eagles will like Connor Bedard. Absolutely. My name is Jim B. Thank you for being here on 106.9 Click FM. Good night, Milwaukee, wherever you are.